claims require extraordinary proof, and most of the far out stuff hasn't been accompanied by extraordinary proof.
Extended proof, yeah.
So I'll believe it when I see it. In the meantime, I have to deal with the reality I see right around me, not some, far out universe type stuff.
Yeah. So about the ninjas and the claims, people can easily shrug that off and say, "Oh, it's just a crackpot." So as people do.
Well, they sent I have an audio tape of this person and photograph which I put on the internet, dressed in funky silk clothing, like something out of a Hollywood movie, threatening me and offering me massive bribes. I have it on tape.
Right.
So, whatever, sure. They do everything they can to discredit me, but the truth is stronger than fiction.
Yeah.
I have the evidence. I can prove it in a court of law. They can't. That's why they never confront me directly. They never debate me directly. They always try to get behind my back. They're cowards and they're liars.
So the YouTube video it's the footage of his face has been. I think I've seen it. You've made his face fuzzy. Is that the one?
Well, there's one where there's an actual photograph of him. I don't know. He may have paid money to get it removed from the internet.
Okay.
It costs something like $400,000 to remove information from the internet. But I put it out there, photograph of him. But anyway, he's no longer. He's just a marginal character now.
So can you talk about Japan and its sort of connection? Earlier we did speak about Copenhagen and how it went down in flames. What does the financial connection? You've on the internet we've heard you talk about Heizo Takanaka and his.
Okay, look, Japan was put under Rockefeller control at the end of World War II.
Right.
And the Rockefeller was linked to the old Japanese aristocracy, and they kind of worked together. And it was a fairly benign arrangement.
Okay.
Until George Bush Sr. appeared on the scene in 1985 and used military force to threaten and force Japan to change their economic policies.
Military force? Are you talking about the...
They shot down an airplane, the JAL 123 flight, in 1985 with 500 passengers on board. They shot it down with a missile.
And did they blame it on the Chinese or something?
It was an accident, according to the official media, And that was to force the Japanese to sign the Plaza Accords and the financial Big Bang. In other words, they were worried about Japanese economic might.
They seem pretty mighty.
And, Japan is number one in everything. And so they use brute force to force this country to change their economic policy.
It's not a very Asian technique, diplomacy and stomach talk,
This was the Nazis under Kissinger and George Bush Sr. in this group. They're a very nasty group of people.
Yep.
But I want to change the subject. There's one more thing that's going to be very confusing to a lot of people. They talk about hundreds of trillions and quadrillions of dollars, right?
In these bailouts, you mean?
The thing that's now in the public realm is the 23 trillion TARP thing.
Yeah.
23 trillion, my God, what is that?
$70,000 for every man, woman, and child in America. It's something ridiculous.
You see, what happened is that world GDP is $60 trillion. Okay? And there's a disconnect between these secret people who control the financial system and the average people who earn wages and live in the real world. So it's like there's two sets of financial books. What happened was they created hundreds of trillions and quadrillions of dollars through these derivatives, and they kept them off the official books. So you have these various trillionaires and billionaires who have these theoretical numbers that they made from these derivatives. And then you have the actual real financial system that people who actually go to work in the morning get
their labor and pay their tax,
and people who actually make widgets and send them in boxes somewhere make.
Yep.
And there's a disconnect between the two. That is why you have so many more digits on the secret financial. That's why you read about all these trillions and quadrillions and say, well, how can that be? I mean, look, the world GDP is only 60 trillion. How can they have 600 trillion in derivatives?
Right.
Well, that's the problem. And so now the big fight is over what to do with all these quadrillions and how to bring them back to reality. Right. So the financial system got out of touch with reality, and the people who control all these numbers are so greedy they don't want to give them up. So the whole debate now behind the scenes is how to erase all those zeros and how to divvy up, the trillions,
Spoils. Yeah.
the spoils. And this is what it's boiled down to now. It's like a fight over bananas among a bunch of monkeys. It's just that the bananas happen to be trillions of dollars in countries and stuff like that. But it's at the very top level, we're just talking about a very small group of people who never lived in our normal reality.
Yeah.
And
how close is it now to it becoming undone? I mean, it's at a different sort of point now, isn't it?
Well, it's reached the point where you have people like Bill Clinton and Ben Bernanke directly talking to our people, asking for money, for gold. So we're really down to a very.
When you say your people, did you still represent?
This is Black Dragon.
Like in society.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we actually have people in the Vatican Bank, in the BIS and stuff, who agree with our goals, which is very simple. Look, let's just rehash what we're talking about. 90% of human savings have been spent on this giant military killing machine that has been stealing and plundering all over the planet.
Since 1913, basically, when
it goes back even before that. It goes back to the Charter of the Bank of England.
1670.
Yeah, look, if you really want to take it, it goes back right back to ancient Babylon. Okay, it's a form of Babylonian tyranny that has been around for thousands of years and has controlled about half the planet. That's coming to an end. But more to the immediate present day, never mind all the historical stuff, is that 90% of human savings has been going to this giant military machine. And we're saying, no, let's spend that money on saving the environment, ending poverty, and moving humanity into a nice future. And so enough people agree with that.
It's just getting people to understand that freedom is an option. It is a choice. Like people conditioned to not understand what it is.
Everybody can live like a billionaire once we release the forbidden technology and we get these people to step aside.
Are there enough in the? You're saying that the Black Dragon Society it stems through all sorts of martial arts training centers. Maybe they don't know it, or the connections there. But there are these links of hierarchy of the leadership of the training.
Basically, these people were planning to kill 4 billion humans, and we stopped them. And if most people are peaceful. They don't want to fight.
They have to be conditioned and manipulated to get that.
The only way you can get someone to hit you is you have to hit them first.
You have to stimulate.
A couple of times. But if they actually came and started killing people, you can be damn sure everybody would stand up and fight. But more to the point is that they're such a tiny minority that just the mere threat should be enough to get them to back down. But if not, and it's already started. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people are being arrested at very senior levels, and they've been killing a lot of people to conceal evidence.
Right.
So it is started, and we're very close to a breakthrough where their control grid will finally shut down.
I hope so.
It's very, very close.
Now, it's been excellent to speak with you, Ben. We've dealt with some very vast and expansive topics. I warn the listeners to... Well, I don't know how to sell them, but we do live in a society that's ultimately controlled by energy, by money, and we need a way out of it. And,
once energy becomes free, we're going to experience a golden age. I mean, everyone will be able to do whatever they want and not have to work if they don't want to. No more drudge work. It'll all be doing stuff you want to do.